Look around you. Your phone, your laptop, your TV, your shoes, even the coffee you drank this morning. What if I told you that almost everything around you has traveled thousands of kilometers across oceans before reaching your hands? Yet most people never think about it, because the industry responsible for moving the world operates almost completely out of sight. No flashy advertisements, no celebrity CEOs, no viral marketing campaigns. And yet this invisible network quietly moves over 11 billion tons of cargo every year. Without it, supermarkets would empty, factories would stop, oil would run out, and the global economy would begin collapsing within days. This is the story of the industry that powers modern civilization. The shipping industry. And why 90% of everything you own came on a ship. March 23, 2021. A giant container ship entered the Suez Canal. The vessel was called the Ever Given. It was longer than 4 football fields, carrying more than 18,000 containers. Then something unbelievable happened. Strong winds, human error, and one of the largest ships on Earth became stuck sideways. The canal was completely blocked. No ships could pass. Within hours, hundreds of vessels began piling up on both sides. Oil tankers, cargo ships, food shipments, consumer goods. Everything stopped. Global trade suddenly discovered a terrifying truth. The entire world depended on a few shipping routes. Experts estimated that nearly $9 to $10 billion worth of trade was disrupted every single day. The canal remained blocked. The incident highlighted just how dependent global commerce is on maritime transport. For 6 days, the world watched. Not because of a war, not because of a financial crisis, but because one ship got stuck. And that's when millions realized something they had never considered before. Shipping isn't just another industry. It's the backbone of the modern world. Every day, more than 50,000 merchant ships travel across the oceans. Together, they form an invisible highway connecting every major economy on Earth. Imagine a factory in China manufacturing smartphones. The screens may come from South Korea, the chips from Taiwan, the design from the United States, the rare minerals from Africa. The final product might then be sold in India. How does all of this happen? Ships. At every stage. Without shipping, globalization would simply not exist. Today, roughly 80–90% of world trade by volume moves by sea, making maritime transport the dominant method for moving goods internationally. And the reason is surprisingly simple. Cost. Moving cargo by air is fast, but extremely expensive. Moving cargo by truck across continents is difficult. Ships, however, can carry astonishing amounts of cargo at very low cost. A single ultra-large container vessel can transport tens of thousands of containers in one voyage. That's why shipping became the engine that made global trade possible. Ironically, the greatest innovation in shipping wasn't a ship. It was a box, the shipping container. Before containers existed, loading cargo was chaos. Workers manually loaded individual boxes, sacks, barrels, and crates. A ship could spend days sitting in a port. Cargo was frequently damaged. Thefts were common. Costs were enormous. Then came standardized containers. Suddenly goods could move seamlessly. Factory, truck, train, ship, truck again, without ever being unpacked. What sounds simple today completely transformed global commerce. Many economists consider containerization one of the most important innovations of the last century because it dramatically reduced transportation costs and enabled modern supply chains. The steel box quietly changed the world, and most people never noticed. Here's where the story becomes fascinating. Most people assume shipping companies simply move cargo from one place to another. But the real business is much bigger. Every container generates revenue. Every port charges fees. Every shipment requires logistics. Every delay creates costs. The shipping ecosystem includes shipping companies, port operators, container leasing firms, insurance companies, freight forwarders, customs agents, logistics providers. Together, they form a global machine worth trillions of dollars. One of the biggest players is Maersk. The company operates hundreds of vessels and has transformed itself from a shipping company into an integrated logistics giant. Then, there are port businesses. A port doesn't manufacture products. Yet some ports generate enormous revenues simply by acting as gateways for global trade. Every container unloaded means money. Every ship that docks pays fees. Every day of storage generates income. The result? Entire cities and economies have been built around maritime trade. The shipping industry doesn't just transport wealth, it creates wealth. Now here's the part most people never connect. Shipping costs affect almost everything you buy. When freight rates rise, electronics become more expensive. Furniture becomes more expensive. Cars become more expensive. Even food prices can increase. During the pandemic, global supply chains were disrupted and container shipping rates surged dramatically, contributing to higher costs for businesses and consumers worldwide. In other words, even if you've never seen a cargo ship, even if you've never visited a port, the shipping industry influences your daily life every single day. Because behind every product on a shelf, behind every online order, behind every imported item, there is usually a ship quietly crossing an ocean. The world's most important industry is also one of its most invisible. It doesn't dominate headlines. It doesn't produce viral products. Most people never think about it, yet it moves the fuel that powers countries, the food that fills supermarkets, the products that stock stores, and the technology we use every day. Without shipping, modern life would simply stop. So the next time you hold your phone, open your laptop, or receive a package at your doorstep, remember this: before it reached you, it probably crossed an ocean. Because 90% of everything you own came on a ship. And behind it all is the invisible industry running the world. If you think shipping is fascinating, wait until you discover the hidden business behind the world's ports, where billions are made from goods that never belong to them. That's a story most people have never heard.